What's going on, guys? Black Market Pokeshield here, bringing you another video for y'all today. Today, I'm going to hop right into it because we got a long one for you. I'm going to be ranking all the modern cards for Charizard, probably in the last 12 years or so. So quickly, get the business out of the way. Remember, 50 subscriber giveaway. We got the Black Friday Mail Metal Black Kyurem EX box. We're giving it away for free. Plus the cards that we pulled in the last video, these two illustration rares, we'll be giving these away to one lucky subscriber when we hit 50 subscribers. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's get into my ranking of the best Charizards in the last 12 years. So, here we go. As you can see, sit back and listen. I also have some nice images for y'all. So the Forgotten Charizards ranking the best cards of the modern era. Starting off at the last place is the Charizard EXXY promo number 17. This Charizard, yes, it's a pretty cool Charizard card, but really, out of all the cards that I saw, not the greatest card, not by any stretch of the imagination. But just so you know, this Charizard comes out of a Charizard EX box from 2014. There's only one on TCG Player. It was on for about 700 bucks, and they're selling for around $600 on eBay. They sell for $35 raw, near mint. All the copies I'm talking about, guys, today, near mint. Okay, PSA 10 last sold 760, but there is none listed on eBay. Population report, there is 153 in a 10 out of 2,590 graded. That makes a gem rate of 6%. The PSA 10 multiple, because this card is obviously an old card, is going to be relatively high, 21.7 times. Currently, if you wanted to buy this card on TCG Player, there are 29 listed, and 32 of these cards have sold in the last 3 months. So there's about 3 months supply worth listed on TCG Player. Let's go to our next card. The next card is going to be the second worst card on this list, in my opinion. The Special Delivery Charizard Sword and Shield Era promo number 75. This card came in 2022 from a Pokemon Center promo. Right now, it has seen a huge buyout and has made the card spike in cost up probably like 50% or more in the last little while, up to $160 raw with a PSA 10 going anywhere from $1,000 to $1,500 with a population report of 4464 out of 29,125 cards graded with PSA. That gives you a gem rate of about 15%, and the PSA 10 multiple is 8 to 10x. Currently, if you wanted to buy this card, there is 18 listed on TCG Player, with 66 copies sold in the last month alone. So those, no wonder the price is going up. Somebody bought a whole bunch of cards all at one time, and this card is going up in price. Overall, guys, yes, it's a cute little card, but for me, I am not into the cute cards. The artwork, not the greatest. I mean, it's cool that it has a Pikachu in it. It's kind of plain for my liking, not my favorite card. It'd be one of the last cards I would want to add to my collection. This third last card on this list, in third last place, is the Charizard VMAX Rainbow Rare from Burning Shadows. Burning Shadows was released in August of 2017, so a relatively newer card compared to the first card on this list, and a little older than the last. Raw, this card goes for about $500 in a PSA 10, $5,000. That is partially because there's only 833 of this card in a 10 out of nearly 6,500 graded, with a gem rate of almost 13%. That's about a 10x PSA 10 multiple, and currently on TCG Player there is 15 listed. Now, I'm not the really I don't like rainbow rare cards. They don't do it for me. This card right here, I mean, pretty lackluster in terms of the art, and then you slap the rainbow on top of it, and it makes it even worse. That's why I just really wouldn't want to add this card to my collection, or would be one of the last of these cards to add to my collection. Next card, moving on, is another rainbow card. Is the Rainbow Charizard VMAX, number 74 out of 73 from Champions Path. Now, I like the artwork on this card a little bit better than the last one, but again, you slap a rainbow on it, I am not a fan. This card is $150 raw with a PSA 10 of about $500. This card has been graded out of the hoo-ha. There's about 20,000 graded with 28,000, or 20,000 in a 10 with about 28,000 graded. That's a gem rate of 70%. So that is the reason why there is only a 3.3x multiple on this card, with the current quantity listed on TCG Player of about 74. Next, again, another rainbow card. Not a huge fan of it, but I like it better than the other ones just because I think the action poses are a little bit better. But we have the Charizard and Braxian GX Rainbow Rare number 251 out of 236 from Cosmic Eclipse that came out in November of 2019. Raw, it goes for 95, PSA 10, $270. There's 1,900 in a 10 with 3,700 graded. That gives us a gem rate of around 52%. PSA 10 multiple of 2.75 times, with the current list quantity on TCG Player being around 30 cards listed. Again, not a fan of a rainbow rare. You're going to see that's kind of where I've put these cards down at the bottom of the list for me. Not a card that I'm really looking to add to my collection. And sticking with the trend here, we got another rainbow rare card, the Reshiram and Charizard, a rainbow rare tag team from Unbroken Bonds that came out in May of 2019. This is card 217 from Unbroken Bonds. The raw value of this card is around $200, with the PSA 10 price coming in around $406. The population report is 1,602 in a 10 with almost 4,000 graded, giving us a pretty much spot on a gem rate of 40%, which is a 2x PSA 10 multiplier. Current listed quantity on TCG Player I did not put down, but there are a fair bit listed on TCG Player. And I'm sorry for the next couple of cards, guys. I did not get the quantity listed on TCG Player. Please forgive me. Next, we have the Shiny Charizard, number 49 from Hidden Fates. Hidden Fates was released in August of 2019. This card, it's a nice card, especially in person. It's nice and shiny and stuff, but I'm just not a huge fan of the more cartoony-ish look, or like, I don't know, more simple look of this Charizard. I'm not a huge fan of the artwork. I do like how shiny it is. That's why I like it better than the rainbow rare cards, but I would be more likely to add this card to my collection than those rainbow rares. This card, this shiny Charizard from Hidden Fates, sets you back around $630 on TCG Player raw, and it goes for 1 to 1.2k in a PSA 10. And actually, there was the one that was recently sold that was a black label, a BGS black label, sold for $8,000 on eBay. The population report is 9,000 graded with 1,870. No, 9,000 in a 10 with 18,270 graded, and that gives us nearly a 50% gem rate with a 1.5 to 2x multiplier. Next is this Charizard promo, number 66 from the Sword and Shield era. If you wanted to get this Charizard, you simply needed to pick up a Vivid Voltage Build and Battle box released in November 2020. Right now, guys, that set, that Build and Battle box, sells for $55 to $65. There's a 1 in 4 chance that you can get this card as a promo from that box, and right now it is $75 raw. So there's a 1 in 4 chance that the card you get out of the box pays for the box. And the other cards, like the Lugia and whatnot, they're also really good cards, but this is the most expensive card from that build and battle box. So 1 in 4 chance the card you get from it pays for your build and battle box. In a PSA 10, it goes for 878, and recently a CGC Pristine sold for $1,900. There's 379 of these cards in a 10 with 890 graded, giving us a gem rate of 42%. PSA 10 is 11 to 12 times multiple, with 33 of these cards listed currently on TCG Player. I like this card. I like it first. I like that it has a stamp on it because people like stamps. I like to collect cards with stamps, stamp promo. I love the action shot in this. The black smoke in the background with the Charizard, with his mouth open, look like he's ready to blow fire. This card is a good card, and that's why I've put it here ahead of the last few cards. Next up, we have the Charizard V number 79 from Champions Path, released in September 25 of 2020. Raw, this card goes for $240. PSA 10 is $600, or there was a BGS Pristine that sold for $1,800 recently on eBay. The population report is quite big, especially for this time. They have 17,504 of these in a 10 with 27,300 graded, giving us a rather high gem rate of 64%. And when we see a high gem rate like that, that usually gives us a lower PSA 10 multiple like we have here with 2.5x. The current quantity on TCG Player is 49. Now this card is a pretty nice looking card. I think it's rather easier to pull from Champions Path. There's a lot of cards out there, but it is a nice looking card, and that's why I have put it ahead of the last few cards. Now the next card might be a little controversial. It's a little bit newer than the other ones, but we are coming in with 9th last or 10th last on the list, which is the Charizard V from the Sword and Shield UPC that was released on November 20th, 2020. Right now, that UPC is going for around $500, and this card is $30 to $35 raw with a PSA 10, setting you back around $405. The population report as followed: 7,500 in a 10 with nearly 40,000 graded. The gem rate gives us about 20% with the PSA 10 multiple of 11.6 times. The current quantity of this card on TCG Player is 233, with 334 sold in the last month. So really, there is a lot of these cards going fast, and that could probably mean the price of this card is going to go up soon. But the reason why I put this card here is, like I said, I'm more of a action type of person, and this is post action. You can see in the background of this card the Charizard, just finished burning down the forest or whatever, and he's getting ready to sleep. And I mean, it's a cool card, just not for me. Moving on to the next card is the Charizard and Reshiram GX card, or Reshiram and Charizard 194 from Unbroken Bonds, May 3rd, 2019 release date. $84 raw, 360 in a 10, with 1,450 graded in a 10 out of 3,337, with a gem rate of 43% with the PSA 10 multiple, ironically of 4.3x, with the current TCG Player population being 30, with 15 sold in the last 3 months. It's a pretty good card. Again, it's not a rainbow rare, so it is better than all the rainbow rare cards that are equivalent to it. Next on, we have the Charizard and Braxton GX 212 out of 236 full art card from Cosmic Eclipse. It released in November 2019. Raw, it is $70 with a $360 PSA 10 with 1,044 graded in a 10 and 2,664 graded total with a 40% gem rate, giving us a PSA 10 multiple of 5.2x. The current quantity on TCG Player as we speak here in February 12th, 2026 is 24 cards with 17 sold in the last 3 months. Again, a little bit more of an actiony shot. It's not a rainbow rare. I like it. Let's move on. The next one is the Charizard number 4 of 102 from Celebrations in October at 2021. Raw, this promo stamped card, not promo card, but the stamped celebration card of a reprint of the base set Charizard is $175 with a PSA 10, setting you back $600. This card has been graded a ton, 52,876 cards graded, with 61% of them grading in a 10, which is 32,266 cards graded in a 10. Still, however, even with that high gem rate, it is still a 3.5, 3.4x multiplier on a PSA 10. There is currently 64 listed on TCG Player, with 104 sold in the last month. It's a nostalgic card. I like the artwork. Its action is breathing fire. It's a nostalgic card, and that's why I've placed it here. Not the greatest, not the worst. Moving on is the Charizard Radiant Collection, also from a anniversary set, but this one goes back a little bit farther to Generations from February of 2016. Raw, this card is fairly cheap at $35, but a PSA 10 could get you $570, which sold on February the 8th. But now the lowest listed on eBay is $950 and goes all the way up to around $1,300. This card is going up in price right now. Population relatively low. There's only 429 in a 10 with 7,500 graded. The gem rate is about 5 to 6%, and the PSA 10 multiplier is a 23x. There is currently 22 listed on TCG Player, with a total of 126 of these cards sold in the last 3 months. I think this card is a pretty neat card. It's the action, he's helping the trainer, keeping him warm. A very heartwarming, no pun intended, card. Moving on, we have the Mega Charizard Y EX number 101 out of 108 from the set XY Evolutions, November 2nd, 2016 release date, with a raw price of $112, PSA 10 from $500 to $600. Rather large population report, with 30,000 total graded and about 13,000 in a 10, giving us a 42% gem rate with a 5x PSA 10 multiplier. Currently, there's 92 listed on TCG Player, with 72 sold in the last 3 months. I think this card is a nice looking card. I like the Japanese across the front. A very, very nice looking card. I'm more partial to Mega Charizard Y than Charizard X. I just think it looks better. It looks cooler. And that's why this card is here. Moving on, this card might be a little controversial, and I know there's going to be some people that are going to be butthurt about this, but it is the Charizard EX SIR Special Illustration Rare 199 out of 165 from the set 151, released in September of 2023. Raw, this card goes for $260 to $280. A PSA 10 is just over $1,000, like $1,100 or so. This card has been graded probably more than almost any other card on the market, with almost 90,000 of these cards graded, with 26,000 in a 10, giving you roughly a 29 to 30% gem rate with a PSA 10 multiple of 4.2x. Currently, there is 122 of these cards listed on TCG Player, with 124 sold in the last month. Now, you're wondering, why do you hate this card? I don't hate this card. It's pretty neat. It's a little nostalgic. You got Charizard, but obviously all these cards are Charizard. To me, this card doesn't do anything for me. I like the card just because it's, coming out when I came, kind of around the time that I came back into the hobby. but it's simplistic. It's a little majestic, but the detail in it is lackluster, and that's why this card here is not very high on the list for me. Next is the Charizard VMAX 107 out of 122 from Shining Fates, released in August of 2019. This card raw is $130 with a PSA 10, setting you back $200 to $300. Also has been graded 44,000 times, and 33,500 of these cards are graded in a 10, giving you the highest gem rate you have on this list at 76%. That's why the PSA 10 multiple is only 2x. There is 70 of these cards listed on TCG Player, with 160 of them sold in the last 3 months. I like this card. I like the shininess of the card. I like the just like raw energy, the anger, the let's go kind of thing with this card, and that's why I have placed this card above 151. I would rather have this card in my collection than the 151 special illustration rare for Charizard. Moving on. And next we have one of the more nostalgic cards on this list is a Charizard Holo, and we're including the Reverse Holo because on TCG Player they are included together. This card's from XY Evolutions in November 2016. Raw, it goes around from $60 to $80 depending on if you want the Reverse Holo or the Holo foil. PSA 10 last sold on eBay is around $3,500. This is why this card is so expensive in a 10, is because the population report is as follows: 595 of these graded in 10, with 50,000 of these cards. 50,000 graded, and only 595 in a 10, giving you roughly a gem rate of 1%. That's why the PSA 10 multiple is 43x. Currently, there's 87 of these cards listed on TCG Player, with 80 sold in the last 3 months. But keep in mind, that's the reverse holofoil and the holofoil combined. Next, we will move on to the Mega Charizard Y EX Full Art card from Flashfire, released in May of 2014. This card raw is $250, and the last card that sold was $6,750, but the lowest listed on eBay is $10,000. The reason why this card is so expensive in a 10 is because there's only 79 in a 10 out of the 1,500 and so graded. So that gives you a gem rate of 5% with a PSA 10 multiple of around 28 times, which could be way more if somebody doesn't undercut the market right now. But $10,000, the lowest listed on eBay for this card in a 10. Currently in TCG Player, there's 4 listed with 1 sold in the last month. Pretty cool looking card. I wasn't around for this era, but I love Mega Charizard Y, and I just love the blue flames coming around, almost kind of like frosting combined with the fire. It's a pretty darn cool looking card. Next is another Flashfire card, Charizard EX 100 out of 106. It's $270 raw, with $7,300 last sold on eBay, with a 1 listed on eBay for $8,000. The population report is 184 in a 10, with 3,765 total graded. 5% gem rate, 27x multiplier for a PSA 10, and there's 17 of these things on TCG Player, with 3 sold in the last month. I like this card. It looks pretty cool, but overall, it is here for a reason. Good looking card, and I like the value that you can get from it. Next is the Mega Charizard X 12 out of 83. This is from Generations in 2016. The raw price is 160, and the PSA 10 is 2,400. But 2 of them sold for 3.4K and 5.3K. The population report is 574 in a 10, with 6,000 of them roughly graded in total, giving you nearly a 10% gem rate with a 21x PSA 10 multiplier. Currently, there is 30 of these cards listed on TCG Player, with 19 of them sold in the last 3 months. Pretty cool. Pretty neat looking card. I love the action. And next is the Mega Charizard promo This is one of the newest cards that we've had on this list so far, which is the Mega Charizard UPC card. The Mega Charizard UPC at this time goes for $140 to $150 market. The raw price for this card coming out of that UPC is $35, and it goes for $255 in a 10 population report is 4,088 and a 10 with 7276 total graded with a gem rate of 56%, PSA 10 multiplier of 3.5 or 7.3x, and there is currently 383 of these 383 listed with a staggering almost 3,000 sold in the last month. This card is selling like hotcakes. If you have this card raw or in a 10, it is very, very liquid at this time. Pretty neat looking card. Love the action, love the flames. Looks good. It's very nostalgic back to the Mega Rares or the Mega cards from before. Love it. Let's move on. The next card is the Charizard VMAX, also from a UPC, but a little bit farther back, which is a Sword and Shield UPC, which is also known as a Charizard UPC. Came in November 20th, 2020. This is in the same UPC as that Sleeping Charizard from earlier. That Charizard UPC is $500. It goes $35 to $40 raw with $350 to $400 in a 10. There's about 9,600 of these graded in a 10 with 40,000 graded total. 24% gem rate with a 10x PSA 10 multiplier. Currently, there's 356 of these cards listed on TCG Player, with 283 of them sold in the last month. This card is badass. I love this card. The flames. Let's just destroy everything. The G-Max Wildfire. Boom. This card is awesome, but is not the best card that is in this UPC, as you will see a little bit later. Moving on is the Charizard EX SIR Special Illustration Rare 223 from Obsidian Flames, released in August of 2023. This card, I believe, is underrated just because it's so easy to pull. It's $70 raw, $485 in a 10, PSA 10 population of 12,000 with 51,000 graded total, giving you a 25% gem rate, which is rather low for a card that is pretty much brand new still. But it is out to go out of rotation here in April. The PSA 10 multiple is 7x. There's 156 listed on TCG Player with 216 sold in the last month. I like this card. This card has way more going on than the 151 Charizard and all this. This is definitely a better card and one of the best Charizards of the Scarlet and Violet era. Now, moving on to the next card, the Charizard promo from Sun and Moon 158. This card comes from the Team Up Build and Battle box that was released on February 1st of 2019. That Build and Battle box is $900. This card is $90, so 10% of it. We know Team Up is one of the most expensive sets of the modern era. So the fact that this card is getting a little bit more expensive, even though it comes from a not so great product like the Team Up Build and Battle box, but it is the fact it is going up. The PSA 10 is $1,100, last sold on eBay, with a population report of 592 in a 10 with 3,850 total graded, giving you a 15.41% gem rate and a 12x PSA 10 multiplier. There's 10 on TCG Player with 12 sold in the last 3 months. This card is sick. I mean, if this card was a full art card, this would be one of the best Charizard cards ever. The action, the wind, the waves, the fire blowing, the fact that it's a Sun and Moon Team Up stamped card with the staff thing on it. My goodness, this card is awesome. Now, keep in mind, I don't know for sure if I delineated or differentiated between the Team Up card and the staff one, but look, guys, this card, whether it is or not, just check it. This is a cool looking card. The next card is the best card, in my opinion, from the Charizard Sword and Shield UPC. Is the Charizard V-Star that goes with my favorite card of all time, which is the Mewtwo V-Star from Crown Zenith. This is the connecting art. This card is $55 to $60, which is the most expensive promo from that set, and rightfully so. PSA 10 will set you back about $1,000 on eBay. It has been going up recently. A population report is 9,000 out of 51,000 graded. It's a gem rate of 17.5% with a 17x multiplier on the PSA 10. There's currently 235 of these listed on TCG Player, with 266 sold in the last month or so. And next up, we have the Charizard promo from Sun and Moon number 158. It's from a Team Up build-in battle box that goes for $900. We know Team Up is one of the most expensive sets of the modern era, but a raw card from here sets you back about $91. But the PSA 10 last sold on eBay is $1,100. The population report is $592 or 592 tens out of 3,850 total graded. The gem rate is 15.41% with a PSA 10 multiplier of 12x. There's currently 10 listed on TCG Player with 12 sold in the last 3 months. This card is amazing. If this was a full art card, this would be the best Charizard card of the entire era. I love this card. I love the fact that it has a stamp. I love the fact that it's from a Team Up product. You should buy this card. Now, in this picture, it has the staff stamp on it as well. That's a different card. I just didn't put the right picture up here. The one with the staff on it is a lot more rare. It's a lot more expensive. It's like $1,000 or $1,500 raw. And just astronomical in a PSA 10. But overall, guys, this card is one of my favorite cards of the era, and we are getting into that point now. We are coming to crunch time with some of the best cards, in my opinion, in the modern era of Pokemon for Charizard. Moving on is the Charizard V-Star from Sword and Shield, the UPC number 262 promo. This is the one that connects to the Mewtwo V-Star, which is the best card in Pokemon. This card goes for $55 to $60 raw, about $1,000 in a PSA 10 on eBay, $9,000 in a 10, 51,000 of these graded total with a 17.5% gem rate. The PSA 10 multiple is 17x. There's 235 listed on TCG Player currently in February of 2026 with 266 sold in the last month. I love this card. The fact it has Mewtwo in it, the fact that it has a connecting art. This is one of the best Charizard cards of the modern Pokemon trading card era. Charizard Staff pre-release card. This is meant to be a staff. This card was obtained if you were a staff or a volunteer at pre-release tourneys back in 2016. The raw price for this card is $1,600 on eBay, but there are no more for sale raw on eBay. There's only one for $3,200 on TCG Player. In a PSA 10, this card sold for $7,000. Best offer last sold on eBay. There's 83 of these cards in a 10 with 1,793 graded, giving you a 4.6% gem rate and a 9 to 11x multiplier. There's currently one listed with 3 last sold in the last 3 months. I love this card just because, again, it's in one of the nostalgic ones. It's got 2 stamps on it, the XY Evolution stamp and the staff card. The rarity, this makes it one of my favorite cards ever in Charizard. So next is the Charizard XEX Gold Card Mega Hyper Rare from Phantasmal Flames, released on November 14th of 2025. Raw, this card will set you around $385 with a PSA 10, currently setting you back around $3,300. It's not been out that long, so there's only been 3,400 graded, and 550 of those have been graded in a 10. The gem rate is 16%, and that is why the multiple on it is around 9 to 10x. There's currently 49 of these listed on TCG Player, with 144 of these sold in the last month. So look for this price to go up even higher. although they might start to print Phantasmal more as they stop printing Prismatic. But right now, the way that this card is selling, it looks like the price will continue to rise. The gold cards, if you have not seen them in person, are very good in the Mega Evolution era here in February of 2026. Very good card. The picture doesn't do it justice, but it is one of the best Charizard cards. Moving on, I think this card is very underrated. It's a Charizard V Alt Art from Brilliant Stars, number 154 out of 172. Brilliant Stars was released in February of 2022. This card is $230 to $300 raw with a PSA 10 cost of $800. The population report is as follows: 15,000 in A10 with 30,000 graded total, giving you around a 50% gem rate. And because it's such a high gem rate, you get only a 3x multiplier on this card. There is a 75 listed with 29 sold in the last month. So again, not a card that has been popular recently, as you can see by the sell-through rate, but this card is awesome. I am a fan of action cards, and this card has action. You got two starters, the evolution line of the starter of Charizard, the max evolution, and then you have Venusaur, the max evolution of Bulbasaur, and they're fighting each other, and it's just an action-packed filled card. I love this card. One of the best cards, hands down, of the modern era. Next is a card people might not be familiar with, but this card is a little older, but it is a promo card. It is the Charizard EX promo XY121. It is from the Red and Blue collection Charizard EX box that was released in March of 2016. Raw price for this card is $126 with a PSA 10 setting you back around $3,800. The population report is as follows: 408 of them in a 10 with almost 10,000 of them graded, giving you a 4% gem rate with a 30x PSA 10 multiple. The current quantity on TCG Player is 7 with 13 sold in the last month. This Charizard card, this full art card, again, it got a Magmar in the background. It's got an Evolution and Flareon in the background. There's fire everywhere. This card is absolutely sick, and I will be looking to pick up one of these cards in the near future once I get some extra cash to spend on this card. Next up, moving on to the Reshiram Charizard GX Sun and Moon 201 promo from a figure collection from Unbroken Bonds days. It's a $750 figure collection. The card is $130 raw. The PSA 10 is $3,800 to $5,000 in a 10. The population report is 357 in a 10 with 4,362 total graded. That means you have a round and 8% gem rate with a PSA 10 multiple at a staggering 35x. The currently on TCG Player, there's 142 listed with a 33 sold in the last 3 months. So right now, not a very popular card, but if you can get this card in a 10, it is worth trying it because that PSA 10 multiple is huge. I love the fact that this card has Reshiram and Charizard in it. I love the fact that it has that like kind of action sinistery type, like let's get ready to go type of thing. This card is an awesome card. And moving on now, we have the Mega Charizard YEX. Like I said, I love the Mega Charizard Y. This card is brand spanking new, so it's from Ascended Heroes, released in January of 2026, just a month ago. It is $675 raw. There's no PSA 10s yet, so we don't have a population report. There's no gem rate. There's no PSA 10 multiple, but it is worth mentioning there is 16 listed on TCG Player, and there's only 6 sold in the last month. And this set hasn't really been out in really for a month yet, but this card is sick. It is rare, and it is going to be worth a heck of a lot of money, especially in a PSA 10 when they start to come out. But it remains to be seen how much they print Ascended Heroes, but Ascended Heroes looks to be one of those more expensive sets, and that will make this card more expensive. Now, we are moving on to the top 3 Charizard cards of all the modern era. Number 3, Charizard EX Special Illustration Rare from Paldean Fates, released in January 26th of 2024. Card number 234 of 91. $200 raw, $650 to $750 PSA 10 with a population report of 15,000 in a 10 and 36,000 graded total with a gem rate of 43% and a PSA 10 a multiplier of 3.3x. There's 126 listed with 65 sold in the last month. The sell-through rate isn't great on this card, but this card, in my opinion, is sick. The way that it shines, the way that it reflects, the texture on the card, you know, it's an awesome card. It does it for me. This card is the third best card, in my humble opinion, or not so humble, of the modern Pokemon TCG era. Moving on to number 2, and this might be controversial, but people say this is the best card, but it is not. It is number 2, and it is the Mega Charizard XEX from Phantasmal Flames, released in November of 2025. This card is just under $700 raw with a PSA 10 and $1,800. It's a fairly easy card to pull because there is not that many SIRs in Phantasmal Flames. But the population report already in, what is it? So it came out in November, so it's December, January, February. 3 months, this card has already been graded 10,000 times, and 6,500 of them have graded in a 10, giving you a 65-ish percent gem rate and a 2.8x multiplier. There's currently 58 listed on TCG Player with 172 sold in the last month. This card is banging. The fact that it has, Charmander, Charmeleon, Charizard, and Mega Charizard XEX all in one card is pretty darn sick. This is one of the best cards. One of the things I'm not a huge fan of is just the way that Mega Charizard's neck kind of curls around. It looks kind of not the greatest, but I like the blue. I like the red. Charmander's having fun. Charmeleon's looking up. They're all looking up at the Mega Charizard. This is what we could become. The action in this set is awesome. The contrast of the colors is amazing. And this card is pretty darn sick. Now, I know this is what you all been waiting for, and this has been a long video, and some of you didn't make it here. Some of you just skipped to hear what my number 1 card is. But the number 1 card of the modern era in Pokemon for Charizard is, drumroll please, the Mega Charizard XEX Full Art card number 108 from XY Flashfire from May 2014. This card is astounding. The 3D like effect of this card with his claws coming at you, with the Japanese language and the blue and the red and everything just coming together. The action, my goodness, this card is amazing. Right now, raw, this card is selling for $500, and there's no sale. That's from a no sales account, but there's also $850 sales for reputable sources on TCG Player. The PSA 10 last sold for nearly $15,000, $15K on eBay, but right now it's better than that or it's worse than that depending how you look at it. The lowest listed is $19,000 in a 10. The population report is 176 in a 10 with 2768 graded total. That gives us a gem rate of 6%, PSA 10 multiplier 17.6x with 6 listed on TCG Player and 1 sold in the last 3 months. This card is amazing. Anyways, guys, I have kept you long enough. Thank you to all of you that actually listened through this whole tier list, the ranking of the Charizard cards. Comment down below which cards you think I missed, or I didn't put all the Charizard cards in here, but I put the major cards in here. Comment down below which is your number 1 or your top 3, and tell me where you think I went wrong. Did I trigger some of you, or is this the exact perfect tier list of all the Charizard cards since 2014 when XY Flashfire released? I appreciate you guys. Humbly, take care, and have a good day. Black Market Poke Show, out.